Good morning, I'm back here. It's Kim from the Shamrock Quilt Studio, and today is Finish It Friday, and as you can probably see, I have a lot on my plate or my work desk today. So let's get started. And welcome back to the Shamrock Quilt Studio. Well, hi there. I was just going over my list of things that needs to be done. And there are so many things that need to be done that I've decided that today is going to be a sewing day. And that's one of the reasons that I decided to have a Finish It Friday, because there are so many tasks that need to be done for our sewing projects that don't always get shown on camera. And there's enough projects happening that we can't do a video on every project every week. So we kind of have to summarize for some of them just to keep things moving. So we'll have a video coming out next Wednesday on our August block of the month. And it's a really cute one, and I think you'll enjoy it. It's really simple, doesn't require a lot of fancy tools, and it will be something that just about everybody could accomplish and still cute as a button for our quilt top or the pillow covers, whichever you choose to do. I think this particular one would do great for both. The next project that we just dropped a video on is an update on our Design Your Own Quilt. So if you've not had a chance to look at that, just go back in the playlist for Design Your Own Quilt or look at the video for last Wednesday. And it's an update on what's going on with that. We had to take a little bit of a hiatus from that project because there were so many other things going on. But we are moving forward with that again, albeit kind of slow, but we are making progress, and we decided on some new template sizes and pieces for our cone flowers that we're going to add to this. So take a look at that. Now, we didn't get a chance this week to do an EPP video, so I want to give you a little bit of an update. I made a little bit of a change in the pattern, and I've got the piece here. Let's see. What I did was I decided how we're going to bring the patterns and colors into these areas where we have to do 2 blocks as opposed to 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these little pieces in here. I'm going to call them little butterflies because they're 2 pieces of the pattern material that sit together like little butterflies. And then from that, we're going to have some white that covers it. And then here in this area, we're going to be able to start bringing in that darker green. I don't know exactly how yet, but we will be putting that in probably in 2s like this as our first step to getting those darker colors in. And how I've decided to put these in moving forward, I started here with 2 to make sure I liked it, and I added 2 more, is I'm making these little 4 pieces with 2 white and the 2 patterned flowers. Oh goodness. They're little diamond shape things. So then these will get put in just like that. They're just 1 square removed from this, like that. So let me clip that back where it belongs. That's where we are with that. I made 3 strips of the white and the patterned material, the little pieces. Those still need to be pressed. I was able to use a couple to see where my pattern was going, but the rest of them still need to be pressed. So that's a job we're going to try to knock out today. And I'll tell you that probably I'm going to need to do at least 3 more strips of white because this thing is eating white fabric like crazy. All right, that's our update on our EPP project. Let's see. I wanted to kind of stick pretty closely to what my actual list for today is. I need to cut those pieces for the sunflower quilt that we talked about in the video the other day. I've also got a great idea for our block of the month for December. I need to find the pieces and some suitable scraps for that. I think I'm going to be able to do it all by scraps. So I'll find that and play with that a little bit today as well so we can move forward with that. I need to work on planning for our September block. Still don't quite know what that is. I think I have an idea, but we'll see where we go with it. And probably the biggest thing I need to do is I'm working on a project that you will not see here for a couple of, let's see, this is July. I don't think you're going to see it till at least the 1st of October. We might get a little bit before then, but probably mid to late September or October. I'm working on a Christmas quilt, and there's a lot of fabric, and I did get it all pre-washed, but there's a lot of pressing to be done. On these that use a red fabric, a really bright saturated color, and a white, I do like to pre-wash them and then press them so they're ready to go. I usually don't starch them unless the fabric just really needs it to hold a shape. I think we're going to be fine with these. I did want to talk a little bit about these fabrics because I had an interesting discussion with the lady who cuts fabrics at Hobby Lobby. And usually this one that I go to, there are two ladies who work there, and you never know which one's going to be there. But when I got over there, I had been in with my pattern that I was using, which is somewhere buried under all this, and that's going to be a secret for now. But I had looked at fabrics and taken a picture of what I thought I wanted and went back in to get it. Now I did decide to switch up the fabrics a bit because I thought that the green I had picked out was too dark, and so I went with a lighter green, which is a little more in keeping with the picture that's shown for the pattern. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought that the rich green and the little swirly things on there were just really cute. It was way too dark for it, so we had to kind of swap up things. But the most interesting thing that happened was the fact that they didn't have any plain white regular fabric. The only white they had in 100% cotton was the Kona. So the lady and I were talking about the Kona. First of all, she was shocked that they didn't have any white fabric. And I don't know if that's because somebody had come in and purchased it all, or if there was a supply or stocking problem that was causing. I did notice that they were stocking a bunch of Christmas stuff. So it could be that they didn't get anything white because they got all this Christmas stuff. And I know, having worked in merchandising for a while for another, not fabric, but another industry, that sometimes when a holiday is coming up and they're stocking for a holiday, you tend to get less stock for your everyday stuff. So it could simply be that it'll be there tomorrow or the next day or next week. It just wasn't there that day. But back to the Kona. The Kona normal price is $9.99 at this Hobby Lobby. These other fabrics ran $6.99 to $7.99 normal price. Everything was 40% off because I chose to go on a week that they were having a sale. And I've started doing that all the time unless it's just an absolute dire emergency and I just can't wait. And when you think about that, a fabric emergency, is there really a fabric emergency? Usually not. So since there was only a slight bit of difference and it was on sale, I decided to go ahead with the Kona. Now, as I had told the lady in there, and she was not really all that familiar with the reputation or the standing, let's say, of a Kona fabric versus a standard company marketed fabric. I'm not sure exactly what to call it, because I've noticed that a lot of these fabric stores, and frankly there aren't that many close to me, but a lot of them are getting their fabrics not from national manufacturers, but they're having things done especially for them. So for example, this fabric says Hobby Lobby Stores Incorporated, all rights reserved. So this particular fabric was either designed especially for Hobby Lobby or is being marketed only at Hobby Lobby because it's got their name on it. And I wanted to check maybe one other one. I know there's another one. Now this one is Brother Sister Design, and I've worked with their fabrics before, and they, I think, also are not a Hobby Lobby company, but they do have a lot of their fabrics in Hobby Lobby. So they're one of those groups that Hobby Lobby does. Now this one is printed exclusively for Hobby Lobby. So you can see that they do have their own manufacturers that they work with, and the only crossover I have found between, let's say, shopping at Joann's and shopping at Hobby Lobby is they're all going to have their own patterns and colors except for those national brands. And the one I see most often is Kona. And the Kona is great. The best thing about the Kona is that they have it in so many colors, and if you buy it at one store, that color is the same at another store. So if you are traveling or you're needing to ensure that you need a specific color, that's the way to go. But overall, I don't know that I actually find Kona to be far superior from the other fabrics, except for one thing. When I bought all this fabric, now I've used this one before in another project, and I was happy with it. It's a nice tight weave. It's very consistent. You can see shadows through it, and you can, the light passes through it, but you don't see through it. And that seems to be, I think I've used the red polka dotted before. This one is, of these fabrics, the one that I would call the least quality fabric, and that's because it's a little bit looser weave. Now it's been washed and dried, so that means it's shrunk up a little bit, and that really improved the weave of this fabric. Now you can still clearly see it here, how it's woven. But again, you don't see through it. Light passes through it just the same. The Kona has a little smoother finish to it. This one has a little bit rougher. It's, like I said, it's the only one here that's like that. And I think that that's just either a little bit different cotton or a little bit difference in the weave. But I think they're all going to do fine together. And this one, of course, they don't make a Kona like that. I find that the only ones I've ever seen are the solids. And frankly, I've never done any research to see if they do anything else. But for this particular project, I think I bought a little over 2 yards of the white, so we were only talking a few dollars difference in price. Okay, so I need to press all this today. I may get into cutting some of the pieces for that particular pattern. I need to press my EPP. I need to finish up some other little tidings around the studio. I need to work on some projects for videos coming up, and I need to clean up the studio. It's amazing that I can spend the same amount of time cleaning up the studio every week. that I spend sewing. Check my board real quick. What else do we have to do? I think at last count I have 4 quilt tops that need to be hand quilted. So that's on the game plan, and I've got a couple of ideas for new videos that I want to do. So I need to get off of this video and get to work on ironing, and probably priority of ironing and tidying first, and then on to sewing and finishing up some things. Little different video, but this is what Finish It Friday is going to be about. I think that the next time we meet for Finish It Friday, we'll probably have some specific project that I'm working on where we may sit and chat while I sew or chat while I hand quilt, something like that. We'll just see where we get for next week. Thanks so much for joining me and taking in all that's about here with all this stuff to do. Thanks so much for joining us. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next week at the Shamrock Quilt Studio.